Welcome to our first edition of the Cowboy Basketball Roundup as we talk OSU hoops with the head coach of the Cowboys, Travis Ford. And unfortunately, well, you've been through a lot. I mean, we're only a month into the season. Illness and injuries, even coaching staff illness. It's, goodness, it's been trying.
Yeah, it's, we've had our ups and downs. We had such a good preseason as a basketball team because obviously we had everybody together through our 25 days of practice, and then, we hit the first game, Shine goes down. Then we go to Charleston, or we go with, then Leighton Hammonds gets pneumonia, and then you move to Phil Forte gets hurt, and you go down the line. But as we tell our players, it's part of the game. It's part of life. Life's going to throw you curves. Not everything's going to go the way you want it, and it's how you handle that adversity. And we try not to talk much about it to the team. I talk to the media and you guys about it all the time, and kind of how it affects our team. But within our own team meetings, within our film sessions, we never talk about who's not there, because whoever's not suiting up can't help you. Those guys can't help you. It's only the guys that are in a uniform. And the guys in the uniform have to figure it out. Whether if you've lost a shooter, if you've lost experience, or whatever it is, who within that group is going to be a big enough leader, big enough player, mental-wise, to step up and take whatever you're missing and say, I'm going to pick up that slack. And that's the approach any team, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter. If you're missing key guys, then you really get to see what everybody else is made of.
Now, so given the fact that a number of the players you're describing either are inexperienced or they may be new to your program, does it just take some time, probably longer than you want, for those guys to make that mental transition?
It takes time, and it actually takes some things probably that we're going through. To be honest with you, you never like it, but there's certain ways to get guys' attention. And on our team, even with everybody healthy, Phil Forte is only only guy on our team that's really been through any huge moments with major minutes. Jeff Newberry might be second. After that, everybody on our team is in a new role. Leighton Hammonds is in a totally different role. Mitchell Solomon's in a totally different role. Obviously, Jawan Evans is new to all this. Jeffrey Carroll, and I can go down the line. Everybody's in a new role, and they're having to do this without their most veteran player.
Right.
So they've got to learn on the fly, but there are no excuses. If you're putting on a uniform and you're putting on a Big 12 uniform, an Oklahoma State uniform, you're expected to perform at a certain level. There's an expectation that you need to play. You're not going to make every shot. You're going to make some mistakes.
Right.
But at this level, you should be able to make up for those mistakes. And we right now, we've had some good wins and we've done some good things. But we need some guys playing up to what we expect them to play to. We need some guys to play the way they're capable of. And once we get that and we get healthy, then I really believe in this team. I really do. We've had some tough moments, but hey, that's part of it. And there's a lot of teams that go through it. It's how you handle this. And believe it or not, I'm hoping this makes our team better.
Stick with us. We'll roll through some of the highlights of the Cowboys' early games after these messages. We're back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup. We've got some games to show you from early in the season, playing a little catch-up here as we work our way into the Hoops campaign for 2015-2016. And our first look, Arkansas-Pine Bluff, your second game of the season, and a team kind of unique in what they do.
Yeah, they play a different style of basketball. They're going to play a really aggressive zone that we really never got comfortable with. They're going to push it. They run a very much motion offense where they're always moving around. A little difficult system to play against. You watch all their scores. They haven't won a lot, but they keep every game's pretty close with those guys. But nice move there by Jawan Evans. But their zone gave us a little bit of problems.
Cowboys and Arkansas-Pine Bluff. This was tight throughout the first half, but Jeff Newberry making one of a number of contributions. Mitchell Solomon couldn't finish, but he gets the putback there. And Solomon, first career game in double figures.
Yeah, we have very high expectations for Mitchell Solomon. We think he could be a great player. We really believe in him. He's a really smart player, plays hard-nosed. And so we're expecting him to really make a lot of contributions for us in a lot of different ways.
It's a tight game, a one-point lead for Pine Bluff, and Solomon with the spinning jump hook. How has he improved the most this year compared to last?
Well, I think he's a little more comfortable, probably more than anything, just a little more comfortable playing. He knows what to expect rather than this time last year, man. Not knowing what to expect, I think really made him uncomfortable at times. He knows because he's been through he's a sophomore now, not a freshman. But nice shot there by Phil Forte.
Yeah.
I thought Jeff Newberry had a really couple good games. The first game we played in the Arkansas-Pine Bluff game, he really got off to a good start earlier in the season.
You see Chris Olivier finishing there. He had 13 points and 8 rebounds and a couple of blocked shots. And there's Newberry finishing that one off. First career double-double. This is one of the games you're talking about, 19 points and 12 boards.
Yeah, he's earlier in the year, he was really rebounding at a very high rate. I think he had 9 rebounds the first game, 12 rebounds the second game, and was really playing at a very, very high level starting the season. Hopefully we can see more of that because we are all about his defense. We're all about his athleticism, rebounding. We're all about him diving on the floor, those type things.
This was a tight game at halftime. Your team was up by 1 at the break, but eventually you got the margin spread out and able to get some things done at key times in transition.
Yeah, we weren't real sharp offensively, but we started spreading it out a little bit. As you can see here, getting some things going to the rim and started getting the margin where it needed to be score-wise.
Juwan Evans with the finish there, as you just saw, 13 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds for Evans, and a solid performance. And he has some unique skill sets for a point guard, even probably as a freshman, would you say?
Oh, he's ultra talented, ultra talented. He had an ankle injury that kept him out about a week. That I'll be honest with you, he's still trying to figure out, getting in shape-wise, where he needs to be for his ability. And he's a typical freshman. He's going to have his ups and downs trying to figure out this level. But he has a spectacular talent level. Yes sir, no sir type young man, terrific young man, but has the ability to change a game. He's just learning. He's still just learning what this is all about.
Just saw the finish by Chris Olivier and then an exclamation point by Joe Burton.
Yeah, we started spreading it out and getting guys in the game and started executing offense a little bit better. Too many times we're letting our offense affect our defense, and which in turn it kind of messes everything up for us.
In a scheduling quirk, the Cowboys face Long Beach in consecutive games, and we'll show you the highlights of the Cowboys' win over the 49ers in Stillwater when we come back. We continue on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with head coach Travis Ford. The day after Thanksgiving, Long Beach was in Gallagher-Iba Arena, the second time you played them back-to-back, beat them in Charleston in the third-place game, and you get them again 5 days later.
Yeah, a really strange game to play somebody twice. But you see, we're a team that we're trying to emphasize going inside as much as we can, and you see some nice moves there by Mitchell Solomon. This game ended up being very similar to the first game. Very similar as far as it kind of came down to the wire. There's Jeffrey Carroll following his shot up. But I like this Long Beach State team. I mean, I think it was 2 good wins for us. We were playing a lot better then than we are right now.
Well, of course, they beat Seton Hall in Charleston, and have they beaten Brigham Young as well? So
beaten Seton Hall, beaten Brigham Young, and went to Colorado State and beat Colorado State at Colorado State, which is not an easy place to play at all. So it's a quality win, but Leighton Hammonds had been out and had his first game back in 3 or 4 games, whatever it was, and threw in some threes for us. But we don't want that just to be what he does, just be a 3-point shooter. I know there's some games where he's going to make more than others, but we want him to be that physical, aggressive player, use his size. He has a great knowledge for the game. If I always say, he needs to be a totally complete player, a stat sheet stuffer. I believe he has that ability. I think that's my expectations for him. If I didn't think he could do it, I wouldn't kind of expect it.
Tyree Griffin knocks down to 3 there. You made 8 threes in a game, and it was a tight game for much of the contest. You tried to separate late in the first half, and here you see Hammonds. He'd missed 3 games with pneumonia and comes out and gets a career-high 20 points when he comes back. Have you ever seen a guy come off a serious illness like that and have that kind of a game?
No, it was a gutty performance because he didn't really have many practices under his belt either. So he had a gutty performance. He got in the middle of their zone. Long Beach went to some zone against us. He got in the middle of it and made some nice shots.
Late in the first half, A block shot by Olivier. The Cowboys up by 10. As it turned out, it was a 7-point lead at the break. But Chris Olivier, talk about him a little bit, transfer from Eastern Illinois.
Well, Chris Olivier gives us a presence in the post. He can score a little bit down low, has a nice left hand. We're just begging for better defense and rebounding, more complete game, run in the court, get in a little bit better shape, play at a, again, he's been used to being at a smaller level.
Right.
And there's certain things maybe you can get away with, maybe not. I mean, I coached at that level, so I understand it. That you will get exploited at this level, especially you start Big 12 play and you play teams like Minnesota and you play teams that are coming up, Florida's and things like that. So there's a lot of areas that we think he can really help our team and can be a major plus, but there's areas we need him to get better at and understand it.
Just had a look at Anthony Allen with the finish there. He ends up with 6 points, and Olivier with the finish. The thing is, and you mentioned this earlier, this may be, in terms of true big guys, as much capability as you have offensively as you've had in a while, do you think?
As a committee, you're right, and we said that before the season, so yeah, I think they're living up to that. We just, we need better rebounding, we need better defense from them. But on any given night, I think, Chris Olivier can score. Anthony Allen is a much improved scorer. We believe as a coaching staff, Mitchell Solomon can be a good scorer.
Yeah.
We need him to, to believe in him as much as we do, and he's getting better and working very hard at it. Obviously, Leighton Hammonds could be a stretch 4 for you. So, yeah, we got some guys that at that 4 and 5 position that we think can score some points, hopefully.
And Hammonds, as you were just talking about, with a big 3 there, Long Beach had cut a 13-point lead down to 4 at that time, and it jumps back up to a 7-point advantage as we work our way toward the end of the game. Juwan Evans with a nice floater as Evans finishes the game with 10 points and 7 assists. You shot a high percentage. You got a lot of good shots because you ended up 34 points in the paint, 13 foul shots. That's 47 to 79.
Yeah, we're obviously, with some of the players we're missing, we're really emphasizing getting the ball inside a little bit more as far as let's play inside to out. We want a little bit more dribble penetration than we're getting right now. We need a little bit more, but Juwan Evans and Tyree Griffin can give us that. But yeah, we want to try to play inside to out. We need to get better at our passing from our 4s and 5s. They're turning the ball over too much right now. We need to get better passing from those 4s and 5s. They're capable of doing it. They just need to sharpen things up a little bit.
And this was one of the games where you probably had arguably one of your better passing games. You had 20 assists on 29 made baskets in this particular game.
No, we want to get 17 to 18 to 19 to 20 assists a game, and that's what we think we're capable of getting. Now, we're out some shooters right now that would help you with some assists and things like that, but still, we had 20 assists without some guys in there, so we're capable of doing it.
Coach Ford and I come back. We take a look at more game highlights from early in this Cowboy basketball season. When we come back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup. Welcome back to the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Oklahoma State head basketball coach Travis Ford. Missouri State came to Gallagher-Iba Arena for the final game for the Pokes just before Christmas, and we see Leighton Hammonds make that shot. It was a tough start offensively for your team, it seemed.
It was an atrocious start, especially offensively. Just turned the ball over way too much. We're just totally out of sync offensively. I kind of compare it to a baseball player in a slump. We're just in a slump offensively right now. We're just throwing the ball, not making shots, throwing it away. And it's putting so much pressure on what we think we should be a good defensive team, and right now our defense is letting us down a little bit.
It's really strange because I saw you after practice the day before this game, and you seem to be pleased with the practice session. Sometimes you can see this coming, but I didn't get the sense from that discussion that you saw this coming.
No, they were totally disappointed after the last game we played, and we had some really actually pretty good practices, but again, it's part of sports, part of life. You're not going to win every game. Some games are worse losses than others and things like that. Not a good performance by us. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It was really more all about them than anything about us. Yes, we came back from 17, took a lead, but we didn't finish the game. So I'm not about all that other stuff.
Sure.
But it was more about their team. Even after the game to the media, I didn't want to talk about our team. I'd rather talk about their team. We didn't deserve to be. They deserve to be talked about. They came in here and played a really nice game. They had lost a couple in a row and things like that. So gutty performance by Missouri State and just a very poor performance by us. Are we, I don't know how good this team can be, but I know one thing: we're a whole lot better than we are right now, and we'll get better. Sometimes you have to go through this, and this inexperienced team that we have, with some different pieces, with some things we're going through, this might be what we need. Unfortunately, it's never fun. It's terrible. We don't like it, but it's part of. I've been doing this a long time, and it's part of what you got to go through sometimes.
Coach Ford and I are back to wrap things up after this. Back on the Cowboy basketball roundup. Now you're going into finals week before you play Minnesota and Sioux Falls. So what's on your list, and how much do the final exams impact what that list looks like?
Well, it impacts it because you want their academics to be the priority, and they got to finish up strong. But with that said, we need to practice, and practice a lot. And these guys need to be challenged, and they need to respond to the challenge. And if they're not going to do it, then they're not going to play. We need some guys stepping up, playing up to their abilities. We need guys playing better than they are. Coaches, I need to coach better. We all need to get better. But they're going to be challenged during this week in the classroom because it's finals. They're going to be challenged in practice. And I'm anxious to see which guys respond because we're better than what we're playing, and we got to get out of this.
We'll have highlights of the Cowboys game against Minnesota on our next show. For Coach Ford, I'm Dave Hunziker. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup.